right, Shalom, Yasha Allah. Shalom, Shalom. What's up? So right now we're in the Shabbat, the 7th day of the week, the last day of the week of the 7-day eternal cycle that Yahweh set up from creation. We're in the 25th day of the 13th month, the last month of the year. We had 13 months this year. We didn't have 12 this year. And we have 6 more nights until we reach the first day of the new year. First day of the new year. And we have 19 more nights and 19 more afternoons until we reach the feast of, until we reach the Passover. And then after the Passover, we have 20 more nights right after Passover ends before we go into the Feast of Unleavened Bread. All right. I'm your brother, Elder Judge Zaquan Shapat Parashah with Mashara Yasha Allah. I'm going to be bringing you, today we're in the 6-day Torah, Parashah, Shemini, which is Shemini, which is now we're dealing with foods and dietary laws. Leviticus chapter 11, verses 1 through 32. Leviticus chapter 11, verses 1 through 32. All right, Passover is going to be soon. The New Year is going to begin on so-called April 4th. So-called April 4th. And Passover is going to be so-called April 18th. And the 7th day is going to be so-called April 24th. And it's going to be fully over on April 25th. All right. Sometimes, you move your hands sometimes when you talk. I don't belong to any secret organization. Haven't taken no vows for no organization, no Illuminati, no Freemasonry, no Prince Hall affiliates, no Blue Lodge, no Red Lodge, no Scottish Rites, no York Rites. All right, so you see me doing something with my hands is not throwing up no signs for no Illuminati or no triangles or no 666 or nothing like that. All right. I'm not a so-called Freemason, although the Freemasons did learn a lot of the things that they have from actual Israelites and then corrupted it for wicked purposes. Shalom Lakal Marakah, hallelujah. All right, so we're in Leviticus chapter 11, going right into these dietary laws. 32 verses, and we got Ariyasha'an Matapia Ra'atash is going to be reading for us. All right, so let's get into this law. I'm excited about this. We're going to be dealing with the dietary. We're going to be dealing with the different meats and different fish that we can eat. All right. So he's going to read it, and then bam, we're going to just give a little bit of edification on each verse. You got to make sure, brothers, you keep your little nose hairs trimmed, your beard up here trimmed, all right, because sometimes it can go up and make your nose kind of itch a little bit, kind of irritate you something. So when you see me mess with my lip and stuff, that's what's going on. The hair sometimes get kind of, I don't say irritating, but kind of bothersome. All right. So let's go on to Leviticus chapter 11. Any other announcements we need to make? Covered Passover. Passover's coming up. Covered Passover. It'll be here 19 days. And the Feast of Unleavened Bread will be here in 20 more nights. All right, so we're going to get started. Let's go into Leviticus. Go ahead. Leviticus chapter 11, right? Go ahead.
Leviticus chapter 11, verse 1. And Yahweh spake unto Moshe and to Aaron, saying unto them.
So Yahweh speaking to Moshe and Aaron. This is what he's saying to him. Go ahead. Moses, go ahead.
Speaking to the children of Yasharallah.
So this is the Bnei Yisrael or the Banya Yasharallah. So he's speaking to the children of Israel, which is us, which are the people that are of the indigenous peoples in the Americas, and then the people that came to the Americas on cargo slave ships, as well as those people that were taken into the Middle East and into Asia and into parts of Europe into captivity and slavery. All right, go ahead.
saying, "These are the beasts which you shall eat among all the beasts that are on the earth."
So Yahweh is going to give a list of the types of animals that we can eat. Go ahead.
Whatsoever part of the hoof,
Anything has a split hoof like this. All right, like this. I know I guess this would have been a perfect time to do it on the dry erase board, huh? Split hoof is a hoof that's like a V shape like this, like a cow has, or a goat has, or like a buffalo has, or a deer, or a sheep. Okay, go ahead.
and is cloven-footed, and cheweth.
Cloven-footed meaning it has its foot like this, right? It has the feet like this, and if this is the leg, right here it has like two other little things. Let me use that one. So it has a foot like this, okay? And then on the back of his leg, it has like two other little things. All right, two other feet type things, okay? Use these two. All right, so you have to do it better with this way. We can't. So you get what I'm saying, right? It has two pieces coming off the foot like this. All right, so when it's standing like this. All right, it's got the foot like this when it's standing. The foot's gonna look like that when it's standing. Okay, it's gonna look like that. Split hoof, like that, see? Then on the back of it, you're gonna have like two pieces coming off of it. So like a cow, goat, deer, buffalo, antelope, cantaloupe, right? Elk, caribou, right? Caribou, Pikachu. Can't eat Pikachus. Pikachus are not lawful to eat. Cannot eat Pikachus. Pikachus are not lawful animals. All right. So those are the types of animals. Parts of the hoof is cloven footed. Go ahead.
And cheweth the cud.
Chew the cud means these animals eat grass. They eat grain. They'll even eat some of them even eat fruit, right? Right? Like they'll eat fruit, but they don't, they'll eat, they'll eat those kinds of animals, those things, but chew the cud means that they chew and then they bring it back up into their mouth. They chew it, they swallow it, and they bring it back up and chew it again. And it breaks it down, makes it even more fine, makes it more fine. Right, so it breaks it down and makes the pieces even smaller of the food, so it digests well. Right, go ahead.
Among the beasts that ye shall ye eat.
Right, so those are the different types of animals that we can eat, the ones that chew the cud. Right, go ahead.
Nevertheless, these shall ye not eat of them that chew the cud.
So you have certain animals that may have when the animal chews the cud, he has 4 parts to his stomach. Okay, 4 different parts to his stomach, and he eats the food and keeps going back up, getting chewed, and goes back down. All right, go ahead.
Or of them that divide the hoof, as the camel, because he cheweth the cud.
So the camel has the same kind of stomach as a cow has, as a sheep has, as a goat has, as a deer has, as a caribou, the roebuck. Go ahead.
But divideth not the hoof.
But he doesn't have a split hoof on his feet. Go ahead.
He is unclean unto you.
That animal is unclean, which unclean is tama'ah. That means that we're supposed to stay away from it. All right, go ahead.
And the coney, because he cheweth the cud.
The coney, which is the rabbit. So, well, I'm sorry. This is like a type of rabbit. I believe this is like the shafan in Hebrew, a shapan. I can't think of the other word for it in English. I can only think of the Hebrew word for it is shapan. I can't think of that English word for nothing. I can't think of the Spanish word either. I know the Hebrew word is like is shapan, right? Shapan. That's where they get the word for Spain from, because it's full of the Hyrex. That's what it is. Like Hyrex, Hyrex, Hyrex. Go ahead.
And the coney, because he cheweth the cud.
So the coney, it has like a 4-chamber stomach. Go ahead. Choose the cud. Go ahead.
But divideth not the hoof.
He doesn't have a split hoof. The rabbits, those type of animals have paws. Go ahead.
He is unclean unto you.
Mm-hmm.
And the hare.
Now the hare is the rabbit. So Bugs Bunny, bunny rabbits. Okay, go ahead.
Because he cheweth the cud.
The rabbit chews the cud. He has a 4-chamber stomach also. Read.
But divideth not the hoof.
His hoof does not split. They have little rabbit paws too. Go ahead.
He is unclean unto you.
Unclean meaning tama'ah means that we cannot eat these things. Okay? We're not supposed to eat these things. Read.
And the swine,
The pig, which the swine is the pig, which is the pork, which is a hog, oink oink, like Miss Piggy from off Muppets. All right, she's unclean. Miss Piggy is an unclean pig. All right, so we can't deal with the swine. All right, go ahead.
Though he divide the hoof.
Now he has a hoof, a clean foot like the cow or the goat or the sheep. Examine the feet of the animal and watch how the animal eats. That will tell you whether or not Yahweh wants you to eat these animals. Right, go ahead.
And be cloven-footed.
So the pig is cloven-footed, has a foot just like the deer, or just like the cow or the goat or the sheep. He has a foot just like the other animals that Yahweh said we can eat. But what?
Yeah, he cheweth not the cud.
He doesn't have, the same type of stomach as cows have. I believe the pig's stomach is more close to how a human stomach is. And it will eat everything. All right. So he doesn't chew the cud, meaning he doesn't have that 4-chamber stomach. Go ahead.
He is unclean to you.
So this animal is unclean to us, meaning we cannot eat it. He's tama'ah is the word for it. Tama'ah. All right. Notice it didn't call him an abomination. Go ahead.
Of their flesh shall you not eat.
Now notice it didn't tell us about the other flesh of the other animals. But so their flesh you shall not eat. Now we know we can't eat the flesh of the other animals. Go ahead.
And their carcass shall you not touch.
So it said don't even touch the carcass now. It says don't even touch the carcass now. All right, go ahead.
They are unclean to you.
They are unclean. We can't eat those animals. Go ahead.
These shall you eat of all that are in the waters.
Now this is the type of fish that we can eat. The fish in the water that we can eat. Read.
Whosoever hath fins and scales in the waters.
So whosoever, the scripture says, whoever has fins and scales in the water. So the fins are the little pieces on the side that the fish uses to, to swim through the water. Bloop, 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 like that. And then the scales are the little circles on the skin that you can take a knife and scrape it off. You can take your finger and rub it across, and you'll feel it scrape off. It's like almost like little circles, almost like armor on the fish. All right. So to eat the water creatures, they have to have those 2 characteristics. Shrimp does not have that. All right. Clams don't have that. Oysters don't have that. A lot of people say that, in Islam they eat those animals, but in Yasharallah, Yahweh said don't eat those animals. Go ahead.
In the seas and in the rivers, them shall you eat.
Mm-hmm.
And all that have not fins and scales.
Anything that doesn't have the fins and scales, read.
In the seas and in the rivers, of all that move in the waters.
Mm-hmm.
And if any living thing which is in the waters, it shall be an abomination unto you.
Now those things are abominations: crab, lobster, octopus. All right, dolphins. People eat these things. We're not supposed to eat them. All right, squid, calamari. It's not squid, right? And then, like I said, oysters, clams, crawdads. Some people want to eat frogs. They want to eat frogs and stuff. All right, you can't eat these things, right?
They shall be even an abomination unto you.
Mm-hmm.
You shall not eat of their flesh,
Mm-hmm.
but you shall have their carcasses in abomination.
Yeah.
Whatsoever hath no fins nor scales in the waters, that shall be an abomination unto you.
No fins, no scales means that we cannot eat it. Like that.
And these are they that ye shall have an abomination among the fowls.
So anything that we see on this list are animals that we cannot eat. These types of animals. Go ahead.
They shall not be eaten.
Uh-huh.
They're an abomination. The eagle, the ossifrage, and the osprey, and the vulture, and the kite after his kind, every raven after his kind, and the owl, and the nighthawk, and the cuckoo, and the hawk after his kind, and the little owl, and the cormorant, and the great owl.
So These animals are like major hunters. These animals hunt their food, what you call like attacking birds, birds of prey. They go down and look for food and all right, attacking birds. All right. So that's the one type of animal that we cannot eat. All right, go ahead.
And the swan, and the pelican, and the gier eagle, and the stork, the heron after her kind, and the lapwing, and the bat, all fowls that creep, going upon all four, shall be an abomination unto you.
I need you to pause between the verses so I can, or I know you finished the verse. Maybe like, maybe like 2 seconds. Maybe just count 2 seconds. So I'm in that time frame. So now when we look back when it says raven, all right, now raven goes into, of course, we know those today as ravens. Then we have crows. Then we have like buzzards, right? Vultures, things like that. These animals are not necessarily birds of prey, but they just, if they see a dead carcass that another animal is eating, salute, what they'll do is go up to that animal and just start picking the dead meat off of it. That's how they survive. It's just eating the dead meat. The Most High Yahweh said He don't want us to eat those types of birds either, which are what they call the birds that feed on carrion, carrion. So some birds feed on carrion, meaning they eat the dead animals. And then we talk about the swan and the pelican and the the stork and the heron. These are obviously going into waterfowl. So animals that go off and just feed off of dead animals, and then animals that will attack other animals to eat. All right, that's their nature, and that's what they survive on. And then when you're dealing with different animals that just hang on the waters, these are all the types of animals Yahweh said He don't want going in your mouth. He don't want you eating these things. So when you look at like a turkey or you look at like a dove, they'll kill a snake or something to defend themselves, as well as a chicken will also. And if some food has, an ant or something on it, the little dove or the pigeon, it'll go ahead and eat it. It'll go ahead and eat, whatever little, thing is on it. Or even like when you go into a woodpecker. A woodpecker is a clean animal. We can eat that, but a woodpecker will go and look for little bugs inside the tree. He's pecking his head, pecking with his beak. All right, and he tries to eat the little bugs that are inside the tree, maybe termites or something like that. So it's not just that these animals, are eating other creatures, but what are they eating? You see, what are they eating? So people try to say the chicken is unclean. The chicken does not have the characteristics of these three types of birds, right? It doesn't have the characteristics of these types of birds. Right? And people say, well, the chicken will eat, another, a snake or something. Okay, well, you got like turkey, you got quail, all right? If you go into like the nest of like a pigeon or something, and that pigeon sees some snakes going after its young, that pigeon is going to try to kill that snake. Okay, or you look at a parrot or something. All right, a parrot or a parakeet, it'll kill like any type of predator that tries to come and eat its babies. Right? That doesn't mean that's I love me some snakes. Chicken don't love snakes. All right, but eagles love snakes. Eagles love squirrels. Eagles love rats and mice. All right, and maybe even turtles and stuff. But chickens don't love those things. Chickens and guinea fowl, okay? Chicken and guinea fowl and turkey, they eat these things kind of in passing as they come into their territory. They don't go out hunting for these creatures. All right, go ahead.
Yet these may you eat of every flying, creeping thing that goeth upon all four, which have legs above their feet to leap withal upon the earth.
So now he's saying that here's the things you don't eat, but now here's other creatures that you can eat that do fly. Go ahead.
Even these of them you may eat. the locust after his kind,
Mm-hmm.
the bald locust after his kind, and the beetle after his kind.
So locust, the beetle, grasshoppers, go ahead.
And the grasshopper after his kind.
And then probably a family of the cicadas. Those things, and they leave the little shell on the trees. Check that out, see if that's lawful. Go ahead.
But all other flying creeping things,
Mm-hmm.
which have 4 feet,
Uh-huh.
shall be an abomination unto you.
So these other things are an abomination to us. All right, these other things are an abomination to us. These different types of creatures that fly. Right. Go ahead.
And for these ye shall be unclean.
Mm-hmm.
Whosoever toucheth the carcass of them shall be unclean until the evening.
So if you touch the carcass of these other little animals, the scripture says you'll be unclean until the evening. So if you touch the carcass of an eagle, a dead eagle, if you touch the carcass of a dead pig, Yahweh says you'll be clean until the evening. Now these are the words of the Creator of Yahweh. He's saying you can or cannot eat these things. So if you don't want to listen to what it says, then you're going against what your Creator, Yahweh, has said. And I can't see you getting in a good position with him or his son if you're not listening to what the Father, Yahweh, says. Go ahead.
And whosoever beareth aught of the carcass of them,
whoever of these dead creatures that we read about, go ahead,
shall wash his clothes and be unclean until the evening.
So wash his clothes because he's Tama'ah.
The carcasses of every beast which divideth the hoof
Mm-hmm.
and is not cloven-footed,
Mm-hmm.
nor cheweth the cud, are unclean unto you.
All right, so it's saying that these are the things that are unclean to you. All right, if it doesn't divide the hoof, and if the foot doesn't split up into 2 different pieces, you see, our feet split off into 5 different pieces. Our hands do too. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. These animals, their feet split up into 2 different pieces like this. All right, 1, 2. All right, 1, 2. That's how the foot is. Okay. So those are the animals that we can eat. All right. Now, when the foot splits like that, it has to also be cloven-footed. In verse 26, if it's not cloven-footed, we can't eat it. All right. If he doesn't chew the cud, then we can't eat it. So it has to have these 3 characteristics as a land animal. These 3 things. It has to chew the food, swallow it, and bring it back up. That's called chewing the cud. It has to be cloven-footed, which means it has the 2 feet on the front, and then like the ankle, above the ankle of the animal, or above, the foot of the animal on the backside, you have 2 little things coming out from it. 2 little things. All right. That's the second characteristic. The third characteristic is that it must have a foot that splits up. All right, what they call a cloven, what they call split, divide the hoof. All right, go ahead.
Everyone that toucheth them shall be unclean.
Mm-hmm.
And whatsoever goeth upon his paws among all manner of beasts that go on all 4, those are unclean unto you.
Let's get into your peccary, your peccary, your groundhog, your raccoons, your cats, your dogs. All of these are things that people eat around the world. But Yahweh said we can't eat those things. Right? No matter how much suffering you think you're going through or how hungry you get, you can't eat those things. Go ahead.
Whoso toucheth their carcass shall be unclean until the evening. And he that beareth the carcass of them shall wash his clothes and be unclean until the evening.
Okay, go ahead.
They are unclean unto you.
So if you touch any of these animals, you have to wash your what? Your clothes. Wash your clothes and wash yourself, and then you'll be unclean until the evening. Go ahead.
These also shall be clean unto you.
So these are the holy foods per se. These are the food that Yahweh says these foods are whole to me. These are okay foods. Go ahead.
Among the creeping things that creep.
So Yahweh said the things that creep on the earth or move on the earth, these are the things that I want you to call unclean, which is tama'ah. All right? I want you to make sure that these things to you are tama'ah, which is unclean. All right, go ahead.
And the mouse and the tortoise.
The mouse, right? Little squeak, 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 like Mickey Mouse. Right, Mickey Mouse. Unclean. Go ahead. Mouse and what?
And the tortoise after his kind.
And what you after the mouse? What we got?
After the tortoise.
Right. The weasel. Right, like a weasel. The weasels. Right, like little weasel type animals. Right. Eat those, like a mole or something like that. And the mouse and the tortoise. All right. The tortoise meaning that a larger type of turtle, like a terrapin, like University of Maryland terrapins. Right. So that tortoise, you can't eat the tortoise either. All right. It's an amphibious creature. Go ahead.
And the ferret,
like the ferret. All right. The ferret, little nice furry, friendly creature. All right. Go ahead. You can't eat that. Go ahead.
And the chameleon.
The chameleon. These are different types of lizard family that go by different names. Go ahead.
And the lizard.
All right.
And the snail.
So now we go into a lizard, and it says lizard, and then it says the chameleon. The chameleon is the one that changes colors. It has a little eye. Like, does the eye like move around like this? The eye moves around like this on the outside, like a half circle. Good vision. Right, so that creature, I would say not to eat. So now, these other things, does that mean you can eat iguana? No. You still can't eat iguana, even though it doesn't say iguana. You know, we can't eat iguana because iguana is in the same family as these other animals. Go ahead.
And the mole.
All right, we talked about the mole earlier because I said that the one creature, the weasel, was kind of like a mole. Right, but now with this weasel, all right, these are like almost like little pest type of creatures, things that come into your house, like gecko comes into your house on the wall. All right, gecko. All right, I never forget when I first left America, and I got a hotel room, and not when I first left America, but second time I went through Mexico, drove to Mexico, I had got a hotel in the state of Tabasco, in the city of Villahermosa. And I kept hearing this noise. I was driving down to Belize, and I kept hearing this noise. And I cut the light on. It was like a little yellow, green, almost like transparent lizard just crawling on the wall. And then make like little noise. All right. I went to the hotel. I'm like, yo, man, little bugs, little lizards in my room. He's like, oh, don't worry about it, man. Don't worry about it. They don't mess with nothing. I said, you sure, man? And he said, yeah. So I slept that night in the room. But then as I traveled further and further into Mexico and then ultimately into Central America, I started seeing these things were just everywhere. And they actually eat bugs, they eat spiders, they eat different creatures. That's okay. Well, the gecko, I guess, is going to be our, friendly house guest wherever you live at. The gecko is always going to be there. If you got cracks in your windows or, cracks in your doors, the gecko is going to get in and just be on your wall. They leave like a white and black, kind of like caca behind. Like white and black caca. Eat the bugs, though, like roaches. That's when you go down there, you see like the cockroaches be running. They be like 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And they start flying. Cockroaches down, they come off the wall flying. And I'm like, what the? The cockroaches, man. So it was a whole new world. It was a whole new world. It was like I felt like I was the chick from Aladdin, man. It was a whole new bug world for me, man. So of course I'm, living in Mexico now, man. So I'm used to it, man. I'm used to it, and that stuff don't really faze me. It doesn't faze me. Except the time when I seen, when you start seeing scorpions in your bathroom. when you shower, and that kind of phases you a little bit. Or scorpion when you sleep in the bed and see a scorpion just crawling over top where you laying at. So yeah, it's time to find a new place to sleep for the night. I moved from a bed into a hammock, and slept like a baby for the rest of the night. All right, so so in ancient Israel, we had these different types of creatures walking around, and people were eating them. The Gentiles were eating these creatures, especially how a lot of the Moabites eat these things now. Moab will eat anything. Moab will eat anything he can put in his mouth. Anything he can put in his mouth. Different bugs, different creatures, different things from trees. I mean, anything. Possum fetuses, little baby opossums that they'll eat anything, man. They eat anything. A lot of foods in so-called China. And our people, they're not too far behind. Talking about iguana eggs is good for a man's nature. Like, well, that's one thing that my nature never find out about. Iguana eggs and things like that, and make a little dish with them, or they just boil them, and may have different types of benefits. Who knows? All right, keep going.
Verse 31. These are unclean to you.
These are unclean. All these little crawling and creeping type of animals. The Most High said these are tama'ah, which means we can't put those things into our mouths. Now you can have these things, in your yard and stuff, and feed them and have them as like little pets in nature. Ferret, a weasel, tortoise, lizard. You can have these things, but you can't eat these things. Okay, go ahead.
Among all that creep, whosoever doth touch them, when they be dead, shall be unclean until the evening.
So whoever touches them when they're dead. Anybody got that? Whoever touches these creatures when they're dead, can't touch them when they're dead. Right now, when they're alive, hey, you're good to go. Do you want to touch these little creatures when they're alive, man? When they're alive, we can touch them all day. All right? You want yourself a little pet eagle or a pet hawk? Or a pet hawk? Get you a pet hawk and just, be like a canary, get a pet falcon. And you have a little bird perching all of it. The little squeak that the hawk does, just fly around and call him back. Come back, land on your arm. But you can't eat it. Right? You can't eat this chameleon, or you can't eat the kimono dragon. You can't eat the kimono dragon. Kimono dragon will kill you. Eat you before you eat it. All right, go ahead.
And upon whatsoever any of them, when they are dead, doth fall.
Now, if any of these creatures we just read about fall upon anything when they're dead, go ahead.
It shall be unclean.
That thing becomes unclean, whether it's a pot, whether it's a plate, whether it's your clothes. All right. You chill under a tree, and a chameleon just dies, or a lizard, iguana just dies and lands on your shoulder from the tree. Iguana, chameleon. Your clothes are unclean, and you are unclean now. Tama'ah. And when you have to wash your clothes and wash yourself, when the sun goes down, you'll be tahar. Yeah. Go ahead.
Whether it be any vessel of wood or raiment.
Any vessel of wood, which means like could be like a little wooden basket, could be like a wooden bowl that you maybe use for pounding like cassava or something, or if you want to make some hudut, all right. If you're making some hudut, right, or something like that, or you're making some cassava bread, pan de cassava, right? You're just pounding it with a little big pestle inside the big old mortar thing, wooden. If it falls in that, yeah. vessel or skin, right? Like you might have like a leather sack, right? You might have like a leather sack that you're drying out, or you got opened up, and you're fixing it because you might gonna put some wine in it or something. See, these are all things. What do these things have in common? These are all things that grow, right? These are all things that grow because he said a vessel of wood grows, right? And then he says a vessel of raiment, that's like clothing, that comes from what plants that grow, right? All right, go ahead.
Or sack, whatsoever vessel it be, wherein any work is done.
Or a sack, whatever vessel you have that you do work in. You might have a sack that you go and take to the field, all right, to put in your strawberries or something, maybe a big loose net, or you go into the field and put in like your seeds when you're harvesting, like your pumpkin seeds, right? Not your pumpkin seeds, but your like sunflower seeds, like a little sack that you do work in, right? You might have a bag you take when you might go to your pecan trees, right? And put little pecan nuts inside of your pecan, your big bag when you go and harvest your pecans. All right, go ahead.
Whatsoever vessel it be, wherein any work is done, it must be put into water.
You see, so if it's a clean vessel that you use to do work in, and then that vessel becomes unclean now. Okay? That vessel becomes unclean. So once that vessel becomes unclean, you can't use it anymore. You can't use it anymore once it becomes unclean. But you have to put it what? In water. Now these are your natural things. Como tela. ¿Verdad? O cosas de como madera. O cosas de como piel, como vacuna. All right? So these are like your different vessels. These don't se crecen. These are things that grow. All these things are things that grow from the ground or because of the benefit of the ground. All right, go ahead.
It shall be unclean until the evening, so it shall be cleansed.
So you clean it, then you're gonna when the nighttime comes, you put it in the water, take it out, put it to dry. When the sun goes down, you're good. But let's keep reading now. We're gonna do the 47.
And every earthen vessel whereinto any of them falleth.
Every earthen vessel. Now these are things that don't grow. What's an example of an earthen vessel? Something that's made out of steel. Something that's made out of glass. Something that's made out of particularly clay. That's the original basic earthen vessel because that's made from the earth. But then when you go to the earth, you got different types of earth where the metals, where the minerals are concentrated differently. When the metals are concentrated differently, right? That's when you have stuff like iron or copper. So these things are earthenware also. Or you might have something like, for the sand. And then that's how you make the glass. You heat up the sand and you get glass. Right? Go ahead.
Whereunto any of them falleth, whatsoever is in it shall be unclean.
Okay.
And ye shall break it.
So if anything falls into them, these things that are made out of earthenware, things that come from the earth, all right, the dirt or below the soil, not things that grow, these are things that don't grow. Earthenware. Go ahead.
Of all meat which may be eaten, that on which such water cometh shall be unclean.
Okay, so if you have water in this container, okay, and then that dead animal drops in there, you listening? And then when it drops in there, the water splashes onto earthenware. What does it say to do?
Whatsoever is in it shall be unclean, and ye shall break it.
You see that? So let's suppose, did not it say snail, right? Didn't it say snail? So if you go to a restaurant that serves snail, or that serves pork, or serves shrimp, how do they wash the dishes? In the dishwasher. They got a big industrial dishwasher. Big dishwasher. All right, I've worked at jobs before. I had to put all the dishes into a dishwasher. You got like a big old rack. And you spray them down. You put them onto a big rack, silverware, the plates and the cups, and you put it into like a rack. It has like a little belt. You put it into this little thing, something that's covered in. It shoots out water. Shoots out water from all sides. Hot water. So hot it don't need no soap. It's gonna clean it and sanitize it at the same time. It's super duper hot. So hot when you touch it, when you come from out the other side, burn yourself. Too hot in a hot tub. So it's too hot. So you touch it, you burn yourself. All right. So once you wash it, let's rewind. The Most High just said, when that thing falls, and it falls into some water, and the water touches some earthenware, he said to break the earthenware, right? So that means that if I'm, if I have like a bunch of snails on my ceiling, I'm in the kitchen, oh, my snail, my little pet snails, hey, Gary. Gary's on the ceiling, hey, Gary. Gary says, what's up, whatever. So then Gary, the snail, falls from the ceiling, and he falls into the sink. So when he falls into the sink, the water splashes onto my plate. What did Yahweh say do with that plate?
And you shall break it.
You say you shall break it. You can't use it. Break it meaning what? You break it. It means you can't use it no more, right? So once you break it, all right? Once you break this thing, right? You can't use it no more, right? You break it, you can't use it anymore. So now when you get this big old dishwasher at Red Lobster, at a French restaurant, at Old Town Buffet, Old Country Buffet, Ryan's Steakhouse, at Morton's, whatever. You got this big, nice restaurant, got all these unclean foods they serve them. They taking these plates that have pork, shrimp, lobster, crab, escargot, all right, which is snail, calamari, squid, whatever. And they taking it and they washing it. And then you say, well, I don't eat pork. Take that. I don't want no pork. I want the chicken with the steak. But you eating off of the same plate that Yahweh said to do what with?
I'll break it.
Yahweh said to break the plate. Break the earthenware. That means the silverware come from the earth. That means that the glass, it's all. And why do you break it? What does breaking do? Makes it unusable. So Yahweh was saying, don't use it. Yahweh was saying, don't use it no more. Break it. And that's why we're not supposed to eat at restaurants that serve unclean food. Because of this is one of the reasons right here. So not only do we have laws telling us what to eat, we have laws telling us what to happen, what's supposed to happen when you have people you have creatures coming into contact with other things that people may eat from. You see? So the scripture said what? The scripture said if you eat it, or if you're using it and this unclean animal drops into it, or the water that the unclean animal fell in drops into something, that water goes into something that's clean, Yahweh said break it. So that's why all your little McDonald's, your Domino's pieces, your Papa John's, your Pizza Huts, your Little Caesars, your Godfathers, we ain't supposed to be eating none of those food from none of those places, yo. We ain't supposed to eat none of the foods from any of those places. We're not supposed to eat any of those foods from any of those places. Whatever. We're supposed to eat that stuff. Yahweh said don't eat it. We can't eat all them plates either. Everybody understand that, right? That's what he said. So people forget about this because, man, they walk by, you know, they walk by Burger King and them grilled, them flame broiled burgers be smelling. Man, it smells so good, don't it? Smells like that barbecue, like barbecue. Smells so good. But then they got what, the Baconator? They got pork, pig, all up in there. It's like a little pig farm in there. It's like a little pig farm. So when you go in there, you say, well, yeah, I want that, but I don't want this one. Give me just the beef one. And they said, they made somebody a little bacon burger. Got the little gloves on. And you say, give me a burger. And they say, okay, let me smear some more on these gloves and make your burger too. Fresh off the grill, sir. And then you like, they put some extra butter on the outside of my bun. Now listen, I didn't say nothing about butter in the bun, buttery bun. Didn't say nothing about buttery bun or buttery bread. So no go there. All right, so you can't eat that. So we have to kind of focus on this point for a little while because this is where a lot of you are going wrong, and you're allowing yourself to fall into sin because you don't know this particular commandment that Yahweh himself told you to observe. You tell them on the Hezekiah, and you have to teach them on the street and point your fingers at everybody and tell everybody what's going to happen to them. And you can respect and appreciate your zeal. But you lack the spirit of the Most High. I'm going to tell you why. Because the Holy Spirit is going to guide you into all understanding. And you're so deep into the histories and so deep into the breakdowns, but you overlook the weightier matters of the law. Primarily, obedience. That's the weightier matter that you're supposed to be looking at. Is primarily dealing with obedience. So you forget that these are the things that the Most High said we're supposed to do. And you don't really study the law as a way of life. You study the Bible as a weapon to cut people with. Oh, you cut them. God, you cut them. And that's okay. The word of the Most High is a two-edged sword. It cuts down to the marrow, to the bones, right? But now these laws right here, we have to keep also. All right. So I hope you understand what I'm saying. All right, go ahead.
Of all meat which may be eaten.
Of all meat which may be eaten. So what does it mean when it says meat which may be eaten? All meat that's lawful in the Torah. All meat that may be eaten. All right. All meat that may be eaten. Okay. The scripture says we had a question from a listener, and the listener said, when you said that if a snail falls into the sink and water gets on the food, Is that a dead snail? Does that apply to a live animal also? First caller, we didn't say snail gets on the water gets on food. The example was the water gets on what? A plate, caller. All right, so it gets on a plate. All right, if it gets on the food, then I'm sorry, you can't eat that no more. So you can't eat it no more. But if it gets on the plate has to be broken. Now that said, that said that said particularly it talks about a carcass. So we're gonna leave it at a carcass. That means all of y'all be breaking commandments every time y'all have some type of little picnic or something outside. Cause them flies and bees be all in your drinks, potato salad, sandwiches, all in the chips and everything. Little flies and bees and be on all your stuff. Okay, so now if we don't go into the live animal, it doesn't say nothing about the live, the live animal, right? It talks about the animal. It talks about the animal when it's dead, primarily. Because the bugs go on what? You got the bugs crawling on your food when it's outside, right? All types of bugs and flies and moths, all right? All types of rabbits and stuff eating all over your food. Rabbits eating your lettuce and eating your carrots. What's up, Doc? All right. All right, so you got to understand the fact that, he says specific things and gives us specific restrictions. So go back and look at these things about the dietary so you can understand and you can apply it to your life and it'll be better for you. Sit down and actually read the commandments of the Most High. And that's what we stand for at Masharah Yasha'Allah. We stand for Yahweh Shai HaMashiach, and we stand for the Torah. All right, go ahead. What verse you in?
Leviticus chapter 11, verse 34.
Uh-huh.
Of all meat which may be eaten.
Which is what? Oxen or cattle, buffalo, deer, goat, caribou, bison, reindeer, mountain goat, all right, bighorn sheep, okay, some different types of roebucks, which is like in the deer, all right, all these different types of animals that we can eat. So Yahweh said of all meat which may eat, that tells you what? That there's certain meats that we cannot eat. Go ahead.
That on which such water cometh shall be unclean.
So that when that plate is brought out to you and they just washed this plate that an unclean animal was on, and then you say, well, I can eat this meat, and then bam, they put your meat on that plate that they just washed. Don't matter how much you washed it. Yahweh didn't say wash it and use it, right? If it's a earthen vessel, meaning it's clay. All right, it means like it's something like it's clay. It comes in. It's unclean. Not to mention the grill they're cooking this stuff on. Not to mention the flippers and the spatulas and the tongs and stuff they're using. The whole daggone kitchen is unclean, man. And the woman back there cooking your food and she on a period. Do anything about that one? The cook just came from a funeral. He ain't even supposed to be back there cooking for nobody until he set himself apart for 8 days. So he in a constant state of uncleanness for 7 days, and he's not going to do that because he don't know about it. And he just got finished, having sex with his boyfriend the night before, and he back there cooking your food. That's how, man, these little places, man, is nasty. Now, ain't so much of that going on down here where we at in Mexico. There's some, but they ain't no gay dudes down here. Them abominations, man, they're not slaving over no grill cooking no chicken all day. They ain't making no pollo asado. They ain't making pollo asado. All right. They ain't making no pollo asado. They making like make some pollo picado. They ain't making no pollo asado. All right. So the Most High said that food, that meat, and that water comes on it. Now listen, Yahweh is saying the water just happened to splash onto your meat. And he don't care. He said, no, you can't eat that no more. It's unclean. But we talking about example where it just happened directly. Like you can't go around the Most High's law. You live in a house with your moms or your grandmother or your uncle or your cousin. You trying to go over there and you eating their food and stuff off of their stove from their place. And you know they ain't eating and cooking lawful. So if you know they ain't cooking and eating lawful, you're not supposed to be eating and cooking behind them on their stuff. So you might have to become a raw vegan or something, a raw fruitarian. And every now and then treat yourself to some sardines, some high grade, high quality sardines. No, herring, smoked herring. Treat yourself to some smoked herring every now and then. But get yourself a little grill, but you can't go around these laws, man. All that captivity stuff, no. If you're intelligent, you can obey the Most High. If you love him, keep his commandments. All right, go ahead.
And all drink that may be drunk in every such vessel
shall
be drunk.
They say, read that part again. All drink what?
That may be drunk in every such vessel.
In every such vessel. In or and?
In every such vessel.
All right, go ahead.
Shall be unclean. So
the drink and the vessel are unclean. Go ahead.
And everything whereupon any part of their carcass falleth.
The dining room table?
Shall be unclean.
Whereupon what?
Whereupon any part of their carcass falleth.
That means the table you sitting at, somebody dropped a little, something on there, or the buffet bar you going through. Do you think they say, okay, this is the kosher buffet tray for the chicken, and we're gonna wash this in our own little chicken clean kosher dishwasher, and this is the halal dishwasher, and this is the I don't follow nothing. This is my son. And this is the Catholic dishwasher. I can eat anything. See, the Muslims, Catholics eat anything. When I say Catholic, I'm talking about all y'all. All y'all that follow Sunday, all y'all that follow Seventh-day Adventists, Jehovah's Witness, y'all ain't nothing but Catholics because they the ones that invented and told you all of the versions that you follow of modern Christianity. All your doctrines come from the Catholic Church anyway. And that's our fault because we founded the Catholic Church under Constantine. Merged the two together. Yashar Allah did that. Constantine, which was the so-called dark-skinned man of the tribes of Israel. He was an Israelite. Right? So Constantine was Yashar Allah. So Catholics, Protestants, y'all eat anything. The Muslims eat anything pretty much but pig. They eat camel, even though Torah said don't eat camel. They'll eat shrimp, even though Torah said don't eat shrimp. And then the Israelites, no, even the Jews, Judaism, teach you that you can eat, you can't eat duck. I mean, you can't eat pig, you can't eat crab, lobster, but they let you eat duck. Duck, and guess what else? Goose. And you eat duck, goose. So we really can't even mess with them real tough like that. So we really got to just buy our stuff from places we know don't serve or process or cook none of those types of foods that we cannot eat. And then you cook it yourself. What about the grocery store? They all or don't eat the stuff from the grocery store. Find yourself a grocery store, don't sell it. I've went in stores and examined, like, yo, do you blah, blah, blah? Let me see your blade. Let me see your freezer. And they walk me into the freezer, show me what's in their freezer. No, we only have lamb, we have chicken, and we have lamb, and we have goats. We have the lamb and the chicken and the goat. We don't got no beef in there, no. We don't sell the beef, just the lamb and the chicken and the goat, the freezer. Just the lamb is in the freezer and the goat is in the freezer. Well, man, look, you want to buy, you don't want to buy, leave the store. You don't want to buy, I cannot give you a tour of the whole store every time you come in here, Parashah. Every time you want the tour, I'm going to charge you for the tour every time. You bring your friends, I give you a free tour, and your friends have to pay. I cannot give you a tour every time, my friend. For you, I give you a very good deal. You're my friend, I give you a good deal. I said, man, you told my cousin that, you told my friend that, you told my uncle that, you told my wife that. Yes, yes, all of you are my friends. All of you good deals. So they'll show you, man. So you ask these people, don't be scared. Hey, bro, what you got in that freezer back there, man? Like I went into a place in San Diego a couple of months ago, maybe. And I asked the lady, she was selling food and stuff. All right, she was asking the food. She was selling food and stuff, and she said, "Hey, what do you want? You want chicken? You want to eat you want some chicken or do you want fish?" I said, "What kind of fish is it?" All the fishes are snapper fish. What kind of chicken? Oh, it's a dead chicken. The chicken is dead. Where are you from? Oh, Nigeria. Or maybe Ghana. I can't remember exactly. No, she was from Nigeria. I asked her, I said, okay, so did you get back in that kitchen? She said, I said, you sell shrimp? Yes, we sell shrimp. I said, I can't eat it. But we sell the shrimp. She said, we sell the shrimp, but the shrimp is in the freezer. We don't cook the shrimp. It's already packaged when it comes into the store. We don't sell the shrimp to eat. We sell the shrimp for the register. We don't cook with the shrimp. This is our new kitchen we're having now. We're only cooking chicken and fish. Does the fish have scales? Yes, the fish have all scales. The fish has the scales. All right, so you ask them the questions of make sure it's clean or unclean. If it's an unclean place, you can't eat at it. Period. So these are the laws that we're reading about now. And Yahweh wants us to keep these laws, man. And if you can't keep them where you live at, you need to find someplace else to live. Or you need to stop eating out. You stop eating out. See, Gentiles, the people don't keep the commandments, they can eat out because they don't have no rules. That's why Yahweh said that, what the scripture says, for thou art a what people unto the Lord thy God? He said we are a holy people to him. Holy means you can't go to the places where everybody else go. I never go where the heathens go, right? You can't go where all the pagans and the heathens go, man. You were set. So the Most High gun, you either gonna have to decide within yourself that you either set apart or you ain't. Because when you walking through Mexico, man, and you see them cooking that little flank steak on that little grill, and then you see the tacos al pastor there, the shrimp, the pig on the thing they put the gyros on, the thin layers of pork on there. And then you see the grill, you're like, nah, I can't even mess with it. Even that, man, the onions and then that steak be smelling good. But then they got the same place. They cutting that pork off the spinner and they putting it on the little tacos, man. So, no se puede comer por allá. Tiene que buscar otro como lugar o tiene que preparar su propia comida en la casa. You gotta look for another place or you gotta cook your own food in your house, man. See that? Because you are holy people. You are set apart people. That means that Yahweh have chosen you to be above all the nations and made you as the example for everybody. So that everybody look at you and you be what? The light for them to keep the commandments of Yahweh. Anybody got that? All right. So let's read. What verse you in?
Leviticus chapter 11, verse 35.
Uh-huh.
And everything whereupon any part of the carcass falleth shall be unclean. Whether it be oven, or ranges, or pots, they shall be broken down. For they are unclean. They shall be unclean unto you.
pots, ranges, ovens. So when you move into your new house or apartment complex and they got a stove, you can't use it. You can't use it. If it's used, you can't use it unless you know, man, this thing came here brand new, and there was an old Jewish couple here, and they use it. Okay, but they could have cooked some goats. I mean, they could have cooked some duck, goose on it. You know what I'm saying? They could have had some duck, goose on there. So that's the law. Don't look at me like, you know. Look, go to John real quick. Go to John. Go to let me see. Go to Matthew 5:20. Go to Matthew 5:20. Real quick. Alberto Montoya. Shalom, buenas noches. So we're supposed to be holy and set apart, man. This is it. So how you gonna be out there trying to teach everybody about all this other stuff, and you know you trying to astonish the world? You trying to confuse them with your deep doctrines. But the basic things we supposed to be doing, no se puede cumplir. You can't complete the basic tareas. You can't complete the basic tasks that Yahweh gave us. All right, go ahead, read.
Matthew chapter 5, verse 20.
Read that.
For I say unto you,
Yahweh Shai saying what?
That except your righteousness shall exceed.
Except your what?
Your righteousness.
Your obedience.
Your righteousness.
Your completion of the law.
Your righteousness.
Doing what the Most High said.
Your righteousness.
Your dietary, except it what?
It shall exceed the righteousness of the scribes and Pharisees.
It shall exceed the righteousness of the scribes and Pharisees. Which means what? Which means that whatever level the scribes and Pharisees were on, with their food, how they ate things, you got to go on a higher level. Whole nother level. You got to go to a higher level. So that all, we in captivity, that don't work. Yahweh Shai don't care about that. The Most High don't care about none of your excuses of being in captivity, and that's the reason you can't keep the commandments. He don't care about that. What he cares about is you doing exactly what he says, or he got a lake of fire waiting for you whenever he decides he's going to kill you. He's going to kill you one of these days if you don't make it into the wilderness alive. He's going to kill you. And you're going to sleep. And then you're going to wake up. And when you wake up, he's going to say, to the left, or he's going to say, to the right. If you constantly been saying, no, I'm in captivity, I can't keep these commandments, and you die in them sins, you die in that disobedience, you think he's going to judge you by a different standard other than what he has written in his law? His law makes no provision for that, except Yahweh Shai HaMashiach. So you can repent. But if you die without repenting in that sin, he already said the wages of sin is what? Death. So that's what you got waiting for you, is eternal death. You got eternal death waiting for you. You see that? All right, let's go back to, except your righteousness shall what?
Shall exceed the righteousness of the scribes and Pharisees.
Shall exceed the righteousness of the scribes and the Pharisees. Your righteousness got to be above that. What happened if your righteousness, your obedience doesn't go beyond the Pharisees? If your love for Yahweh doesn't go beyond what the Pharisees had, what happens then? Go ahead.
You shall in no case enter into the kingdom.
You shall in what?
In no case.
Ain't no way at all you're going to do what?
Enter the kingdom of heaven.
You ain't going to enter the kingdom of heaven. That means you're going to go into that lake of fire. All right, let's go back to Leviticus and pick it up from verse 25. Go ahead. Con. So if it, whatever pots there are, or ovens or ranges. Ranges like the stove tops, like when you make the stovetop stuffing on it, as opposed to the range stuffing, which is like the oven. Go ahead.
They shall be broken down. Man.
They shall be broken down. All right. So you got to break it down, man. You got to destroy it. Go ahead.
For they are unclean. Man. It shall be unclean unto you.
Shall be unclean to you. Right? They are unclean. It shall be unclean to you. They are unclean. It shall be unclean to you. All right. They unclean, and they should be unclean to you. You can't eat them no more. You can't eat off of them no more. You can't use it no more. It's unclean to you. All right. It's unclean to you. You can't deal with it no more, man. It's a wrap. You can't eat that stuff no more. All right. You can't use that stove. You can't use that oven. You can't use those pots. You can't use those pans. You can't eat any of those things no more. I told y'all this was the boundary area right here. Right? You got people coming on this side right here. This was the boundary area. All right, so you can't use that pot, that stove, or that go onto that plate, or use that fork, or use that cup, or use that pan, use that oven. Once it's been used for that animal that's unclean, or once that animal that's unclean has touched it, you can't use it no more. All right, go ahead.
Nevertheless, a fountain or pit wherein there's plenty of water shall be clean.
So if it falls into like a fountain or a pit with a whole bunch of water, it's still clean. That water is still clean. Go ahead.
But that which toucheth their carcass shall be unclean.
All right.
And if any part of their carcass shall fall upon any sown seed which is to be sown, it shall be clean.
That means you got little seeds out that's going to be planted. It's going to be clean. Or say you got your beans, and your beans are dried out. You're going to plant them. Okay.
But if any water be put upon the seed, and any part of their carcass fall thereon, it shall be unclean unto you.
So if you put water on them seeds now, all right, or you put water on those seeds that you're going to be planting, or you're going to be using them for something else, then it's unclean. Go ahead.
And if any beast of which ye may eat die, he that toucheth the carcass thereof shall be unclean until the
Now they're going beyond the dietary, and they're getting into basic sanitation. They get into sanitation. They get into, showing you different things that you can do if an unclean animal comes in contact with you that died. So if you come into contact with the carcass of a dead cow, it says, okay, you're going to be unclean until the evening. All right, go ahead.
And he that eateth of the carcass of it shall wash his clothes, and be unclean until the evening.
So if you were to eat part of that carcass, you'll be unclean to the evening. Got to wash yourself and wash your clothes. Go ahead.
He also that beareth the carcass of it shall wash his clothes, and be unclean until the evening.
So you be unclean until the evening. All right. Go ahead.
And every creeping thing that creepeth upon the earth shall be an abomination. It shall not be eaten.
For all these little things that creep upon the earth, scorpions, centipedes, millipedes, tarantulas, Yahweh said those things are not delicacies. He said those things are tama'ah, meaning you cannot put these things in your mouth. You cannot use these things for food purposes. You can't eat them. They're tama'ah to us. I read.
Whatsoever goeth upon the belly, and whatsoever goeth upon all four.
Different type of snakes and different type of ground lizards. All right, different type of ground lizards. Not necessarily talking about the lizard that we read about in verse 30, but just other little types of creatures like that. Creatures that move close to the ground. Like that.
But whatsoever hath more feet among all creeping things that creep upon the earth, them shall ye not eat, for they are an abomination. Ye shall not make yourselves abominable with any creeping thing that creepeth.
You shall not make yourself abominable. That means don't go out of your way and don't go making yourself abominable, and be diligent to know that you're not making yourself abominable, that you're not making yourself unclean. So you got to pay attention to where you're going to eat and what you're eating, what's over here. All right, go ahead.
Neither shall ye make yourselves unclean with them, that ye should be defiled thereby.
Neither shall you make yourself unclean what?
With them, that ye should be defiled thereby.
Go ahead.
For I am Yahweh Elohim, ye shall therefore sanctify yourselves.
Make yourselves holy by doing the things I told you to do through Yahweh Shai, Hamashiach, and through obeying the laws of Moses. They working together. Read.
And ye shall be holy.
Ye shall be what?
Ye shall be holy.
You shall be set apart, man. That means your mouth, your actions, what you eat, how you dress, supposed to be holy. Look at yourself how you dress now. Did you leave the house? What type of clothes you have on? Are those holy clothes? When you go out on the street, people look at you and see holiness. When they talk to you, can they hear holiness? When you move and look at your diet, does it line up with the Bible? Go ahead.
For I am holy,
Mm-hmm.
neither shall ye defile yourselves with any manner of creeping thing that creepeth upon the earth. For I am Yahweh that bringeth you up out of the land of Egypt to be your Elohim. Ye shall therefore be holy, for I am holy. This is the law of the beast and of the fowl and of every living creature that moveth in the water.
So these are the judgments of the Most High. He's already said, this is what you can and cannot eat. He's a creator. He is the Most High, the omnipotent, the all-powerful creator. And what he says you can eat, you can eat. What he says you cannot eat, you cannot eat. Go ahead.
And if every creature that creepeth upon the earth, to make a difference between the unclean and the clean.
The what?
The unclean and the clean.
Make a difference between the unclean and the clean. Check that out. What's going on with that little button stuff right here? Make a difference between the unclean and the clean. He said, make a difference. Make a distinction. Go ahead and just take it up. Make a distinction between it. Between what's clean and what's not clean. He didn't say it didn't matter. He said you shall make a what? Make a difference between. It's like night and day. It's like night and day. All right. If it's 1 o'clock p.m., are you gonna go in the house and run some water, get some water and shower and brush your teeth and eat some food and then get on a blanket or get on a cot or get on a pallet and then go to sleep for the night? You gonna do that? Are you gonna, if it's 8 o'clock at night, midnight, 8 o'clock at night, 8:30, 11 o'clock at night, are you gonna turn on TV looking for cartoons and get you a bowl of cereal? No. So the Most High said, you're supposed to make a distinction. You're gonna make a difference between, if you do that at 12 midnight, you know, okay, well, this is not the norm. All right, go ahead.
And between the beasts that may be eaten.
Make a difference. Make a distinction between the beasts that we can eat and the beasts that we cannot eat. The animals that Yahweh said are good for us to digest and eat. And certain things he said, do not put this into your biological system. Do not introduce this energy, this combination of nutrients, minerals, and vitamins. Do not put this into this vessel that I created for you. Anything you do outside of against what the Creator said, is going to damage your system. And that's why a lot of you brothers' minds and spirits are just messed up, because you've been doing stuff with your bodies that Yahweh said don't do. And you've been doing it, for so many years now. You've been doing it for so many years, and then you come into the truth. You say, well, now I'm going to start doing this stuff right here, but you don't go back and look at his laws. So your mental, your mind hasn't been purged. Your body hasn't been purged. Your body hasn't been made clean. So you have to purge out. Your mind has to be purged. You have to knock all that stuff out of your system, man. You do it spiritually and you do it physically. So you come into the knowledge of the truth of who you are, and you don't make that distinction of what you can and can't eat, where you can and can't eat. And then you making your own decisions because you don't know what Yahweh's judgments are. All right? All right. So yeah, we can eat locusts, Hezekiah. A lot of people, we know the Most High put us in captivity to keep these commandments, but a lot of brothers just make excuses, and sometimes a lot of them just don't know no better. As the years went along, decades and decades passed, some brothers got a little more serious about what does the Torah, what does Moses say. Some brothers were just focusing on, Paul and the prophets, and just stuck to the breakdowns. But some brothers said, no, there's life for the kingdom of heaven, the kingdom of Hashemayim, beyond these breakdowns. There's life beyond John 3:16 and the breakdown of the world. There's life beyond that. All right. And that life beyond that is the laws and the commandments of Yahweh, which must be followed absolutely as he has stated. And that's what the whole reading of this portion of the Torah was about, to show us what is holy and what is whole to Yahweh. What he said that we can eat, and what he said that we cannot eat. What he said we can eat, and what he said we cannot eat. And you have to follow his guidelines, period. If you don't follow his guidelines, then he's going to have a lake of fire. He's going to have us as a guest in the lake of fire. For what? You might say, oh, I'm just afraid, this is a fear tactic, whatever. I don't care what you say about it. It doesn't matter. But you got to obey what he said to do, point blank. You have to obey what Yahweh said to do. If you don't obey what he said to do, you're going to face him, and he will destroy you. Yahweh is not a human being. He's not your mom's. He's not your father going to say they're going to do something to you to punish you for wrong, and then going to let you off, and then going to forgive you. When his judgment comes, the judgment comes. And that's why he's not bringing judgment upon us right now for violating these dietary commandments. He sent his son Yahweh Shai HaMashiach to pay for that sin once and forever. All those sins are paid for. But you can't cash in your coupon to get out of sin while you're still in sin. Yahweh already paid the price, and you still inside the store trying to steal food and eating food you ain't supposed to be eating. But when Yahweh paid the price, you're supposed to leave the store now. Don't keep adding on to that tab. He paid the price for all of the wrong stuff you did. You stealing stuff from the store. And Yahweh paid the price. And here you go, stealing some more. Only way you're going to get forgiveness for that stealing, again, if you go to your house shop, like, look, I stole something else. Can you forgive me? Yeah, I already paid for that, man. Don't even worry about it. Don't worry about it. But then you just like stuff in your pockets like, man, he paid for this one. He didn't pay for that. Once you know, it's a whole new ballgame. So you can't keep sinning and sinning and sinning. Once you know about these dietary laws now, you can't break them. There's no more. Yahweh shall pay one sacrifice for all your sins. But then when you continue in sin and you don't repent of your sins, then you going to be the price. You're going to pay for them sins. Hebrews 10:26 tell you that. If we sin after we receive the knowledge of the truth, there remain no more sacrifice for sin, but a certain fearful looking to of fiery indignation, which shall devour his adversary. He that despised Moses' law, that person died without mercy under 2 or 3 witnesses. How much worse of a punishment do you think a person is going to be worthy to get punished with who just stepped on and disrespected and ripped up and just stomped into the ground the blood of the sacrifice of Yahweh Shai HaMashiach? How much worse of a punishment besides death? I tell you what, second death, which is when the Most High going to destroy that soul forever. All right, so with that, Shabbat Shalom. Once again, we're in the Sabbath, the 7th day of the week. There's no such thing as a lunar Sabbath. There's no such thing as a crescent moon new month. So we're in the 7th day right now, which is the Shabbat. We're in the 25th day of the 13th month, right? And we have 6 more nights until we get into the first month of the year. The first day of the new year is in 6 more nights. Now after that, after those 6 nights, you got 19 more nights. Counting from right now, you got 19 more nights and 19 more afternoons until you get into the Passover. And after that 19 more nights and that 19 more afternoon, as that afternoon is ending, right? The 19th one is ending. You're going into what? The 20th night, the 20th day. And that's when you start the Passover Feast of Unleavened Bread. Right? So that's what we got going on. That's our calendar. Keep it. All right? Time is getting short. Remember your brothers and sisters in the Western Hemisphere. You got the Eastern Hemisphere. We have brothers and sisters in the Eastern Hemisphere that don't know anything about Yahweh Shai HaMashiach, that don't know anything about being true children of Yahshua. They don't know anything about their real nationality. They don't know anything about Yahweh or Yahweh Shai. They don't know anything about this truth. And it's our job to make sure that they hear about it. Or Yahweh Shai may ask us, why didn't you go out and feed my sheep? Salud. Why didn't you go and feed my sheep? And what you gonna say? Well, man, I ain't have the money to do it. I was in captivity. Okay, well, how was you paying your bills, man? How was you buying food? And how was you taking care of your children? And how was you, paying your car and getting gas? Well, after I did all that, I ain't had no money left. So maybe you should have decided which one of those you weren't gonna do, or reduce your payments so that you could go and feed my sheep, man. So whatever you got to do the work of the Most High, make those adjustments. Because I can't think of no excuse that Yahweh Shai is going to be like, oh, okay, I ain't heard that one before. Go ahead through. Yahweh Shai said he gave us certain talents. And if we don't work those talents, they're going to punish us. Right? So work your talents for the Most High. Yahweh Bashem Yahweh Shai. Wake up Yasha Allah. All right, so with that, everybody, we say Shalom Lakam. All right, all praise to Yahweh Bashem Hamashiach Yahweh Shai. This is your brother, Zaquan Shapat, Elder Judge Parashah, with Mashara Yasha Allah. All right, Elder of Diplomacy to the Diaspora and the House of Israel. Also working under Zaquan Nathaniel, Zaquan Shapat Nathaniel, in the Torah Law Department. Also helping him with the calendars. So if you got any question about the Mashara Yasha Allah calendar, the Mashara Yasha Allah Torah and Law Enforcement, check with Zaquan Nathaniel. You got any questions about the Diaspora, House of Israel, check with me. You got any question about spokesmanship, check with Elder Barak. Got any question about communication, you can check with Elder Shalamah. Got any question about the priests or Levitical offices, things like that, check with Elder Kahan. All right. Any questions about security, check with Elder Ash. You got any questions about the treasury? All right. You check with Elder Banyamin. And you have any questions about records, scribing, things of that nature. All right. Documentation of things and records to see what happened when. You check with Elder Zaquan. Any questions about histories? All right. Education, you check with Elder Karash. And if you have any questions about things that you need to have counseling on, most of the elders are proficient to help you with that. I know Shalaman and Kahan have been doing some counseling for premarital counseling, and Elder Barak and Elder Karash are sharing right now the office that was held by Elder Thalwam. Is sharing that responsibility for counseling, right? As for dealing with counseling and things of that nature. I think that's that about names all the elders on the council with their offices on. So we one nation, even though we have different camps. It's time for a lot of you brothers need to start paying attention to and watching the trends of the spirit that the Most High is establishing and setting up, by the elders, by the Zaquanian of Mashara Yasha Allah. Because one of our main goals is to push Yahweh Shai to the four corners of the earth, man. You gotta do this thing, man. Four corners of the earth. North, east, south, west hemisphere. Right? And then push Yahweh Shai and push this covenant right here. All right, these are our records. You gotta push this Torah. Right? First 5 books of the Bible talk about our laws and our early history. From before Adam until the death of Moses in Deuteronomy chapter 34. After that, we're going to Joshua, Judges, book called Judges. That's the name. The title of the book and the subject is one and the same. Right? Like a book about what? About what? And a book about Susan called Susan. All right? You got a neighbor named Susan, And that's her name. And if you didn't know, Susan's in the Bible. It's called The History of Susanna. See that? So we do have a book about Susan. You know what this says, Susan? Heather. Now, we ain't got no Heathers in here. There's no Heathers in here. Got Susans. Shoshana. Anyway, so yeah, that's Hamashara Yasha'Allah. That's what we have to do. And once again, every elder has his particular office. Okay. Every elder has his office. And with the office of the elders, we are, establishing, the parameters for the nation to walk in these different offices. All right. And we're still growing and maturing into respecting the offices of the elders and respecting the authority that they have in those different offices. We have growing pains and we're getting better. And each summit, each summit is going to get more and more impactful for the whole nation of Yasha'Allah. But at the end of the day, it's not Mashura Yasha'Allah. It's not your camp that's in control. Yahawashi is in control when everything is said and done. And whatever he wants to happen is going to happen. The gates of hell shall not prevail against anything that the Father and his Son Yahawashi have established on this earth. So that's my little outro. So may the Most High Yahweh be with you. In the name of Yahawashi, Hamashiach, Shalom to come.